Okay.
So, what is one of the many reasons you decided to play football at such a young age?
Uh, you know, my parents wanted me to be very active in sports. I played about five sports throughout my life. You know, football was better than soccer at the time, according to my parents. So I kind of just got thrown in there, starting in flag football, and then just, fell in love with the sport. And I mean, just kept going to where I am now.
Yeah, I like that. What keeps you motivated to keep playing football?
Um, I think just the idea of success in anything that I'm doing, whether it be school, sports, trying to be the best friend I can be. I'm always just trying to be the best I can be.
Yep. So, what are your future ambitions in life?
Um, my future ambitions is probably being a financial advisor like my dad.
Mm.
Um, very good. He's very good with numbers,
Yeah,
so I
very
think
smart
I
to
could
see.
handle that.
Yeah. So, what was the transition like going to St. Thomas More?
Very different. The school's obviously way smaller. Um, not as many people that you get to make friends with, but I have a lot of good friends where I'm at right now, and I think my parents just thought it was the right decision for me.
All right. So, what are your future goals and how do you plan to achieve that?
Um, well, one of my future goals is to play college football, definitely. And to do that, I think you just got to be patient and just keep working really hard, and I think it'll all pan out.
Definitely like that reasoning. What has public education taught you in your high school years?
To be honest, I'd say the main thing I learned is how to be more open to meeting new people.
Yeah,
Uh, at at a school like that, most of the time, I mean, in my case, I didn't know anybody that was in my classes to start the year, and then just making friendships with people you never thought you would. I think that's a really cool thing about public school.
yeah, definitely agree with that. So, what is one what is one piece of advice for people looking to become a wide receiver?
Um, I would say be confident. Confidence is not easy to come by for me, especially, and I think the second you lose confidence at that position is when you really start going downhill. So just stay confident, keep working, and it'll all add up. It'll all add up.
Yep. So, what was one of the more enjoyable games as a football player?
Um, Definitely our game against Roosevelt when I was at Stevens my junior year. We had a little losing streak going. I can't remember the exact number.
It was like so we
Uh,
won like 3 games and it was like, yeah, it was pretty bad.
yeah, it was bad, whatever it was. And Roosevelt came into town on a Saturday, and I mean, it wasn't supposed to be close, to be honest. And we put up a lot of points and was able to grab a big win. And I think that was really big for our school at the time.
Definitely agree, and something that we definitely needed. So what is one game you could replay and why?
Um, that would be a game from this year. We played Sturgis on our homecoming, and low scoring game. And I think we were up by three or four, and we were able to get a pick six with about 2 minutes left to kind of seal the deal and win our conference that day. That was a pretty special moment for us.
Definitely. So, what is one of the proudest accomplishments you had in football?
In football, it would probably be being a team captain this year, or being able to make the all-state team this year. That was something I've worked for a long time, and I thought that was pretty special for me and my team.
Yeah, definitely getting to show that support. So, um, sure. How do you want to be remembered, and what do you think your legacy will be?
Uh, if I could be remembered, like to be remembered as a guy who is very unselfish and a guy who, I mean, was nice to everybody and always put others before himself. And hopefully that's the legacy I leave because that's what I'm trying to do.
Definitely agree on that. All right. So, what was one of the funniest moments you played as a football player, and why?
I don't know. That's a tough question 'cause I've played with a lot of I've played with a lot of goofballs,
Yeah.
but I'd probably just say some of the locker room experiences. I'll
Oh
just say
God,
that.
yeah. I definitely
Yeah,
had a couple of those too this year. Yeah, that was funny.
yeah.
Oh geez. All right. So, how did you gain your self-confidence?
I really, I mean, sometimes I still struggle with this, and I think
Same
everyone has
here.
confidence issues at times. But one thing that I do to, I mean, help with that is just work hard at what I'm trying to do and just make sure that I'm ready for situations that life will bring me. Because, I mean, if you work hard, your confidence goes up because you're more confident in what you're doing.
Definitely agree on that. All right. So, here. Do you still plan on playing? Do you still plan on playing basketball at St. Thomas More?
Yeah, I'm playing right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
We have our first game in Wyoming on Thursday, actually, so I'm excited for that.
Definitely. All right. So, what is your daily morning routine like getting up? Since
Probably not what everyone should do. I wake up at about 7:45, probably.
yeah.
Take a shower, brush my teeth, get something to go for breakfast, and then get to the school at about 8:10. We start at 8:15.
Dang, we start at like 8:20 and we leave and we have to go to and we're by the end of it it's like 3:20. It's the worst scheduling I've ever seen.
Oh, I mean, it's getting better days are coming for you. I'm a senior this year, and I get out at 10:40 every day.
Oh yeah. If you want that
So,
senior schedule. Yep. So, what do you typically eat before a football game?
uh, if I have money, I would definitely get a Pancheros burrito.
Yeah.
But if not, I'll go home and eat some vegetables and make like a turkey sandwich or something.
Definitely cheap on the cheap side. Yeah, so definitely can agree on that. Do you plan on studying for any colleges? Which we obviously talked about this. So do you plan on studying for any
Uh,
colleges?
I do plan on. I mean, it's a lot of time to go, or a lot of time to go, but I have a couple in mind, I'd say.
All right. Trying to all right, serious. So has any colleges offered you any scholarships yet?
Yeah, a couple,
All right.
but I'd like to keep that private
You're
until
good. Yeah.
signing day. Sorry.
You're good. You're good. That's all right. And the final one was about college, so I'm probably gonna leave it on that note. You're good. So thank you for coming on. So
Cool.
what is the many reasons you decided to play quarterback?
I just like playing quarterback because I just like to throw the ball and being in that leadership role.
Yep.
And you get to touch the ball every play. So I thought that was kind of cool as a kid. I started playing quarterback
Yeah.
and then it carried over to high school.
Very nice. What keeps you motivated to keep playing football?
I just like being out there every day with my friends and just football's a lot of fun. And I mean that's the biggest reason I play. So
Very
uh,
nice.
I'd have to say uh, I'd have to say that.
All right. So what are your future ambitions in life?
It's a big question. Um, Go to college, play football in college, hopefully get a degree, and then I mean get a job and see where life takes me.
Definitely like that answer. So can you please elaborate on what kind of degree you want to get?
So I'm thinking about studying. I got a few options right now, but my main interests are physical therapy, um, or business, like business management, administration. I haven't really decided yet. But I don't know. I really like I'm interested in PT just because I know I've had every injury there has been, and it's I think I'd be good at identifying those injuries and helping people recover from them.
Definitely like that answer. All right. So what are your future goals and how do you plan to achieve that?
Future goals. Well, I'd like to, like I said, play football in college.
Yeah.
And to achieve that, just keep working in the classroom. I mean, turning in my homework on time, doing my assignments, and just keep playing football.
Definitely like that. All right. So who are the people who had a big influence in your life?
Big influence in my life, definitely my mom. She's my biggest supporter. She helps me with everything. I mean, buys me food, gives me rides when I need rides.
Yeah, I could
And I'd
see
have to
that.
say my coaches. I'd
Oh
have to say
yeah,
my coaches, just because
definitely.
I mean, they gave me the opportunity to play football, and I still talk to coach. I mean, even when we're not in season, I still talk to Coach Mike on a weekly basis. So I'd have
Definitely
to
like that
say
one.
those two.
Yeah. All right. So what has public education taught you throughout your high school years?
Public education. It's taught me a lot. It's taught me. I mean, school obviously is important. So get your stuff done, but just relationships with people. Going to Stevens, there's a lot of people at Stevens, so just getting to know your teachers and getting to build relationships is an important lesson, and I learned how to do that very well at
Yeah,
Stevens.
definitely like that one. All right. So what is one future advice for looking for people to becoming a quarterback?
Becoming a quarterback, just go out and throw the ball. I mean, quarterback, it's a hard position. You got to know all the plays. You got to know what certain receivers are doing at certain times, but it's really fun because I mean, you never get bored. So I
Yeah,
think my biggest word of advice is just to get to know your players, like get to know your wide receivers, get to know everybody on the team, and just be vocal and hold people accountable. I think is the biggest thing,
yeah, you can definitely,
biggest role to being a quarterback.
yeah, definitely a word of advice for Jacob, the upcoming quarterback. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so what is one game you could replay and why?
Replay like one game I wish I could go back and
Yeah, pretty
um,
much.
play again.
Yep.
Oh, it's a good question, Sam. I'd have to say I'd like to get the Roosevelt game back just because I felt like we could have played a lot better than we did.
Oh, definitely.
Um, we got off the bus and we were just sluggish, and I mean I don't think they were a very strong team, but we kind of
Let them
beat
play with us.
ourselves, and yeah, we kind of beat ourselves. So I wish we would have had that game back, and I wish we would have could have got a road win. So
Yeah, that was definitely something that we could have definitely won, but we just didn't play right. So,
I agree.
um,
I agree.
how do you want to be remembered and why and why? And what do you think your legacy will be? Shoot, I'm not reading these questions correctly.
Well, that's all good. They're good questions. I got to think a little bit. Legacy. Just a guy who went out and just worked his butt off every single day at practice, um and just got to know all his players, and like I said, building relationships. I think that's the most that's what I enjoyed the most about playing football is just getting to know um everybody from the younger class to the freshmen to the seniors in my grade, and just yeah.
God, yeah, the freshmen. So,
Yep.
how did you gain your self-confidence?
Self-confidence. Yeah, confidence is key. For me, I would just envision myself like before a game or even before practice, I would envision myself making this throw, making this read. And then I felt like if I envisioned myself doing that before I went onto the field, it would help me when I got onto the field.
Yeah,
And because I feel like if you're thinking about it and you believe in yourself and you believe that you can do it, then most likely you can do it.
definitely agree on that one. All right, so let's see here. What is one of your proudest accomplishments in football?
Proudest accomplishments in football. Oh, that's a good question. One of my proudest accomplishments was being elected captain during our last playoff game against O'Gorman.
Yeah.
I think that's, I mean, it's just an accomplishment because that means that your teammates kind of trust you and your teammates believe in you. And
If they can
I
lead.
really appreciated that. Yep, I really appreciated that from them. Um, so, I mean, you can have all the awards you want, but like I said, just knowing that you built a good relationship with your teammates is the best feeling.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. All right. So, did you play any other sports when you were younger?
I did. I did. I played like pretty much every sport you can think of. I played them all. I played soccer, then I played hockey for a little bit, which I regret quitting. I loved hockey. I played basketball for a little bit, and then baseball. Am I missing? I feel like I'm missing. So, I mean, I like to golf a little bit in my free time, but I'm not very good.
Yeah, same here.
Golf's hard.
It is.
So,
Yeah,
so yeah,
so
and then football, obviously.
definitely agree on that one. All right. So, what do you typically eat before a football game?
Oh, you
Jeez.
guys, people are gonna hate on me for people are gonna hate on me for this, but I like my pregame snack is SpaghettiOs.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
serious. I
definitely
have
can agree on that
SpaghettiOs
one.
almost before every game.
I can relate.
Yep. I don't know why.
I'm that big person.
I usually try to. I know. I usually try to eat healthy, but before a game, I'm always craving SpaghettiOs for some reason.
Yeah,
And I feel
hey.
like it's lucky. I'm pretty superstitious, so if I don't get my SpaghettiOs,
This
it's a
game
bad
over.
deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, let's hear. What was one of the most weirdest experiences you experienced in football and why?
Weirdest experiences?
Yep.
Oh,
Some people have been saying, like in the locker room, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on in there. So I don't know if that's one of
oh
them,
yeah.
but
There's some stuff that goes on in the locker room. Stuff I probably can't talk about, but
no, yeah.
I would say, okay, my freshman year, this is a bad experience. I
All
remember
right.
we went to Chamberlain for a trip, and I have to wear my wristband for the plays, and I remember I lost my wristband, and I
Well,
was like, oh no, Coach Olson's gonna be mad at me. And then I think we ended up finding it in I think I went to go get taped in one of the other coaches' cars, and I must have
yeah.
left it there. So I was freaking out before the game the whole time, and then I ended up finding it in his truck and being able to play.
Oh,
But
got
that
saved.
was a weird situation, a little scary.
Did not want to be in.
But
Yeah. All
no,
right. So let's see here. What conference game did you feel as though we could do better on? Which we already kind of went over this, but if there is something you want to add on to that,
I feel like we could have done better as a team.
yeah,
Well, definitely minimize the penalties. I feel like if we would have minimized the penalties, I mean, every time we got a penalty, I feel like get a big play, get something going, and then we shoot ourselves in the foot and get a penalty. But I mean, we did a good job. Like after we got a penalty, kind of getting back in the groove. But I think if we could have minimized on the penalties, minimized on the mental mistakes, then we could have done a lot better. But like I said, we did a good job persevering and ended up, you know,
yeah, definitely.
at the end of the season, I think we cleaned them up a lot.
Yeah, definitely agree on that. So, how did you feel about your last season of football?
Man, I'm gonna miss it. I can tell you that. It's high school football is it's a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
mean, I've been playing with a lot of these guys for a long time, and I mean, even at right after the O'Gorman game, you're sitting on the field, you're like, dang, this is the last time I'm gonna be on this field with my buddies I've been growing up with. So
yeah,
it was definitely a lot of fun, and um, definitely at the end it was sad because we're not going to get that time back, but definitely a lot of fun.
yeah. Hey, I definitely relate to that. So,
Yeah.
let's see here. What is your morning like routine like getting up in the morning?
Morning routine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I wake up at like 6:50 and I'll sit on my phone for like 10 minutes, which is bad. That's a bad habit. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I get my morning started. I'll sit on my phone and I don't know, check my text messages. And then I'll get up. I usually shower the night before, so I'll wet my hair down a little bit, maybe throw on some deodorant, head upstairs,
Yeah.
eat breakfast, brush my teeth, and then leave for school.
Yeah. Gonna relate
Pretty
better.
boring. Pretty boring. Pretty boring, but you know, I
Oh
like
my
my
goodness,
sleep,
Jed
so I
doesn't
gotta
brush his
sleep in a little
teeth.
bit longer.
Yeah. All right. So, so do you plan on signing for any colleges?
Plan on what?
Do you plan on signing for any colleges?
Doing what?
Do you plan on signing for any colleges?
Signing. Oh, yeah, I plan on signing. I have a few options right now.
Yeah. If you don't want to say
A
anything,
lot
you
of
don't
great
have to, but
coaches. Yeah, no, but I'm definitely gonna sign to a
one of them.
college.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So, let's see here. What do you plan on studying in college? Which we already kind of went over this, but if you want to go ahead and talk a little bit more into
Yeah, I can elaborate. I mean, physical therapy is definitely one of my
it.
interests. It's a lot of school. It's like
Yeah.
six to 8 years, but I think I'd enjoy that. And then a business degree too.
All
Um,
right.
just I think it's good to have a business degree if you want to like start your own business one day, or I mean, you can do a lot with the business degree. So definitely that too.
Yeah. All right. So I think that will finish us up. What is the many reasons you decided to play DB?
Um, that's a good question. Uh, I don't know. Back when I first started playing football, I kind of just had to analyze my strengths. I wasn't very big, wasn't very tall, so thought I could be a agile DB.
Yeah, I definitely could agree on that one. All right. So what is one of your future ambitions for wanting to play football? Or if you
Uh,
even have any
I don't think I'm gonna go play college football. I kind of decided that when I was younger. I just want to focus on
school.
studies. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very important. All right. So let's see here. Who were the people who had a big influence in your life?
Um, my parents for sure. Uh, I think they raised me pretty well. Um, Football wise, I'd say Coach Crossway. He's been a big part of my career and my development. Coach Scott, both great guys. Um, yeah, and my dad, he inspires me a lot.
It's very,
So
very awesome. All right.
yeah, well,
So this also kind of ties into like another football subject. So what age did you decide to play football at and why?
what age did I decide to play?
Yep.
Um, well, I kind of jumped around with football, right? So
Yep.
I started when I was maybe in first grade with flag football. And then I
Jeez.
think I took like fourth grade off from flag football, and then I did tackle football in fifth grade. But um, I don't know. I've always liked football. I've always wanted to play it, but yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So what future goals do you have in life and what is one way you plan to achieve that?
Future goals.
Yep.
Um, I want to be able to do what I want when I'm older. Travel whenever I want.
Yep.
Kind of be financially free or financially set up. Um, it'll take a lot of work, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but that's the goal, to be financially free.
Yeah, I
Have
definitely
all
could
my
agree.
investments straight,
Yeah.
passive income, you know all about that, huh?
Yeah, I'm in economics, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, what sacrifices have you made to play football, and why do you think it's important to have these experiences with your teammates?
Um, Sacrifices. I'd say the biggest thing is probably just time in general. You spend a lot of time practicing. Football is like 2.5, 3 hour practices every night just to go out and play one Friday night game. So I mean that, and then all the summer camps and the stuff leading up to it. Just a lot of time, grind, and dedication, I guess.
Yeah, definitely can agree on that one. It's definitely very time consuming. So
Yeah.
why do you think it's important to get a good education? And how are your personal experiences? And what are your personal experiences with that?
Yeah. I think getting a good education is good. You know, you always want to further educate yourself no matter what you're doing. I think that's why we're here, to just keep getting smarter, keep evolving,
Yeah.
But my experiences with it, I've always done pretty well in school. Um, yeah, I like to stay up on my stuff, and
Yeah.
that comes with sports too. It's like if you don't stay up on football, you're gonna get behind, you miss a practice, you're not gonna know the plays. So
Yeah, I
it's
definitely
mostly
agree on
about
that
just
one.
showing up.
Yeah, definitely. Participation is very important in getting better. So,
Yeah.
what is one piece of advice for people looking to become a DB?
Um, to become a DB, you gotta have good reaction time. You gotta have pretty good speed. Um, I don't know. It's a lot of technique though. If you can work on your technique, get that down, you'll be all right. But it's definitely hard, definitely challenging.
Yeah, definitely. If you never
Fun.
had the experiences, you definitely need to have the dedication and motivation to keep doing what you're doing. So I definitely
Heck yeah.
appreciate that and stuff like that. So, what was one of the most enjoyable games you played as a football player?
Um, I would have to say, oh, the Washington game last year. Or wait, no, that was Roosevelt.
Yep.
Roosevelt game last year, my junior year.
Yeah.
That was just an awesome game with all the seniors. I don't know, that game was just special.
Yeah. I recently had
Pulled
an
out the
interview
dub.
with, yeah. I recently had an interview with Jed and he said that he definitely thought we could have done better this year on the Roosevelt game. And I definitely agree with him. We were kind of sluggish. Oh my goodness, I'm having the worst struggles today with my words. So yeah, I definitely can agree on that one. It was definitely we could have done a lot better, but we just
I
didn't
know,
execute.
yeah. Roosevelt's one game that I want back if I could get one back for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of the games, but for sure.
So this year, what is one of your proudest what is one of your proudest accomplishments in football?
Um, I'd say just my first time starting, I guess, because freshman year I didn't play at all. Like I didn't even go out for football, and then I came back sophomore year.
Yeah.
Just what I didn't really know what I was gonna do, what I was gonna play. Um, and then sophomore year I kind of played a lot on JV, worked my way up a little bit, saw some varsity snaps, and
Yeah.
then junior year I don't remember what game it was I started, but the first game I started, that was probably my proudest moment.
Yeah, definitely can agree on that one. So let's see here. How do you want to be remembered?
Say what?
How do you want to be remembered
How do I want to be remembered? Um,
if anything were to happen, you know?
ultimately, I want to be remembered as someone who cares, someone who takes responsibility. Um, I want to be remembered as a good teammate,
Yep.
always there to help a brother out. Um, yeah.
Yeah, definitely can agree on
Just
that one. So what is one of the funniest moments you played as or that you experienced as a football player? Again,
uh, that's a hard one.
I know.
I'd have to say, um,
I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say the
I
locker
got
room.
two
I knew it.
answers. I
Yeah, what's
got two
up?
answers. Not
Okay.
bringing up the locker room. I will not bring up the locker
Okay,
room.
that's fair enough.
Um, okay. One is when Hayden Gebhardt,
Yep.
he ate a he ate a hot chip on the bus, the world's hottest chip or whatever.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny right before a game,
Yep.
just dying on the bus. Um, and then Oh, locking freshmen in the bathroom. Whenever a freshman gets to ride a bus and we lock them in the bathroom,
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
always
Yep.
I always love doing that. It's a great time.
Yeah, hey, yeah. Gotta have those moments we got them.
Yeah.
So, this year, what is one of the lessons you learned from playing football?
One of the what?
What is one of the lessons you learned from playing football?
Last thing I learned
Or yeah,
is
or
that
what are the lessons you've learned from playing football?
yeah. Um, I'd say never let a moment slip away. Like always soak in everything because I mean that last game, man, it was crazy. It's
Yeah.
just such a weird feeling that because I mean with football, you can't just lace up your cleats and go play a game. You gotta, there's pads involved. You gotta get rests and stuff. Both like
Hmm.
basketball or golf, you can go pick up a golf club or put on your basketball shoes and but it's different with football. You won't be able to
Yeah.
pad up again, so it's weird,
Yeah.
but don't take moments for granted.
Yeah,
Or
because
high
you won't,
school,
yeah,
anything.
you won't get those moments back. Definitely something
I
to
know.
keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So, Seer, how do you view self-confidence and why do you view it's important?
Uh I think self-confidence is important in anything you do in life. I think there's a fine line between self-confident and cocky, and if you can find your way right in the middle of that line, that's where you want to be because you want to believe in yourself and anything you do, but you don't want to flaunt it, be
Yeah,
cocky about it.
definitely can agree. All
So
right,
yeah.
so let's hear. Did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Um, yeah, I played soccer, baseball, um, never wrestled, played football. Um, basketball, did I already say that?
Yeah, yeah, you already did.
Oh, great. I don't know.
So,
Yeah.
let's hear. What is one of the weirdest moments you experienced in football, which we already kind of went over that? What is your exercise routine like, if you have one?
Uh, yeah, usually I'll go lift after school, go to my last class at 2:25, and then I'll go right to the Y or whatever. And then I'll lift for about an hour and then go home usually.
Yeah,
So,
couldn't agree more on that. So, what do you typically eat before a football game?
oh, this is a good one.
Yeah.
I always go to Qdoba, and
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna tell you about the Flood Bowl.
All right.
Um, so I go into Qdoba, right? I get a bowl,
Yep.
both rices, brown and white, both beans, black and pinto,
All right.
and then you get chicken. Um, you get fajitas, both quesos,
Yep.
right? You got to get the queso,
Definitely
and then
agree.
we got a lot of corn, a lot of pico, a lot of cheese, a lot of sour cream, a lot of guac.
Yeah, you shouldn't hear Jed's response to this question. He was like, he always gets SpaghettiOs, and I'm like, who? Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
yeah, he said that, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
that made me crack up.
that's interesting. I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I get
he
that,
said that
and then
everyone's gonna bully him over it. So I'm like, nah.
I
Uh,
respect it.
yep.
Whatever
So
works,
wait, what? Whatever works. Yeah.
whatever
So
works.
yep. Let's hear. What conference game did you feel we could do better on?
Uh, you know what I'm gonna say.
Yep.
Roosevelt
Yeah, definitely.
needed that one back. I think there's a lot of them that most of us would want back. I'd say uh Lincoln. That was a
Yep.
tough one.
Yeah,
That would have been
definitely.
so cool. Want that one back.
Yeah.
OG, our last game.
That was pretty close though. I mean, it definitely was something that like, yeah, you guys could have
Yeah, I
won, but
know.
like, yeah, they were still a pretty good team.
For sure, for sure. But nobody thought we were gonna, come out and do what we did.
That was pretty close.
Um,
So
yeah, if
props
we
to you
could have
guys.
one play could have swung our way in the end, and it might have been a different story. So
Yeah, no, that's so sad. I even feel a lot of sympathy for that because that was your last game and you won't be able to get that back. So
yeah, last game ever.
yeah,
It's
so
tough.
yeah. So how did you feel about your last season of football?
Um, I felt good about it. I had fun. I wish we could have won a few more games. Um, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we could have done better, but at the same time, I am happy with it. I had fun. Had fun with the boys, you know. It's the last ride.
Yeah,
Gotta soak it all up.
yeah, hey, definitely the attitude to go with. So, which sport did you enjoy more, football or basketball?
Um, it's a good question. I like football more, I'd say, and that's because I think football is more of a brotherhood than basketball, I guess.
Yeah.
Because in basketball, it's still a team sport. Everybody's still got to do their job, but one guy has the ball at a time, you
Hmm.
know? So it's kind of one man show unless you pass it or whatever, you know? But in football, if one person messes up and doesn't do their job, then the whole team's screwed.
Yeah, and then
And that's 22 guys that have to do their job every play. So I guess
yeah,
you just get closer
with your
with
teammates.
the team. Yeah, I
Yep.
love
So
that.
me too.
Love that about football.
All right. So, what is one of the many reasons you decided to do wrestling?
Well, one of the many reasons is I seen all the older kids at the high school and everywhere else doing it, so I decided to hop on that bus.
Yeah, I definitely can agree. Um, who were the people who had a big influence in your life?
Definitely my coach, Travis King. Um, Huge influence on my life. Cooper Voorhees. A lot of just top wrestlers that have just went through Stevens.
Yeah. Is that it? All right. So,
Yes.
what age did you decide to do wrestling at?
Um, I was in the kindergarten was my first year
Oh my goodness.
wrestling.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
never
was
done
pretty
any
little.
sports. Yeah, before that. So this year has been a crazy ride for me, especially for you. So hopefully you guys can also
Right.
maintain that victory route. All right. So let's hear. What future goals do you want to achieve in life, and what is one way you plan to achieve that?
Um, I want to be a millionaire when I'm older.
and
So,
yeah,
however
when
I can
really,
achieve that, I guess is what I'm going to shoot for. But yes, I want to have a lot of money. So, if I get that stage in my life,
Laura, still there? Your computer's just kind
yes.
of buggy. All right,
Oh,
so you're good. So, Sierra, what sacrifices have you made to do wrestling, and why do you think it's important for people to make these to have these experiences? Ooh, I'm so stuttery today.
um, well, I guess I just created a lot of goals, and some of my goals were that to achieve them, I needed to stay away from bad things. You know, I just needed to focus on one goal at the time, and a lot of other distractions I just kind of let go of. And the only thing during wrestling season is wrestling season. That's about it. I cut off a lot of my friends, family. Um, there's a lot of things over like Christmas break that I wish I could do that I can't because of wrestling. So, but I think in the end, giving up all of those
Yeah,
is good.
yeah. So, this year, what was one of your proudest accomplishments in wrestling?
Um, in the year 2022, I won my first high school state championship. 2010 is the first ever time I won my little kids championship, and I think all of those are probably my biggest accomplishments. I would say as an eighth grader, I got pulled up to wrestle varsity, and that was a really big accomplishment for me as well. But for sure, my high school state championship was
Yeah,
something to remember.
I definitely can see that point. So Sierra,
Yeah.
um, do you have the confidence that you can lead your team to another state championship again in the future? Running out of breath.
We got a new team this year. We're super young. They're a group of kids that are super hungry though, so I'm
Are
not
there
too sure that we can.
Are there any kids like Logan Graff up in here?
No, Logan,
Dang
he's
it.
kind of one of a kind.
Yeah,
But
definitely
we
something.
got a few kids that'll get there
That's
in
good.
their stages of their life. We're just super young team.
Ooh. Sometimes that can be a good thing, sometimes that can be a bad thing.
Right.
So yeah, just raise them up while you can. So which sport did you enjoy more, football or wrestling?
That's everyone wants to know and ask me that question, and during some times of the year I'd tell you football season, and during some times of the year I'd tell you wrestling season.
Hey, yeah, the appropriate answer for that one. So
Yeah.
definitely can agree on that point. So what is one wrestling match you felt your team could have done better on?
Um, I think it was 2 years ago. I can't remember. I think it was 2021. I would have been a sophomore, and we were wrestling in the state finals dual championship against Pierre, South Dakota, and we lost by I think 1 point, 1 or 2 points. It came down to me and this other kid from Pierre to the last match, and whoever won that match won the duel.
Oh,
And sadly, it did not go our way. But
yeah, that
I
is
think
definitely
that right, that was a tough one for sure.
yeah. So what is okay, so how did you find your passion for wrestling?
Well, like I said, when I was a super young kid, where I grew up, it was Valentine, Nebraska, and super small town, and
Yeah.
the main sport there was wrestling. It would have been like soccer here, baseball here. It was all about wrestling. So all the older guys and the super cool kids that I thought, they all wrestled. So I knew that I was going to be a wrestler from a really early on
Yeah, I could
age.
definitely see that. So let's see here. What do you do in your free time?
Recently, not a whole lot. I've just been doing some schoolwork and keeping my grades up and working out, and been on the wrestling grind recently, I guess. But
Yeah.
been going up to Terry Peak quite a bit, and then in the summer, I like to go to the lake all the time and wakeboard and tube.
Hey, yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I definitely do like those rocky rides. So so what is your most scoring game in wrestling? Or if you know.
Yeah, I do know. I beat a kid um, 38-17 once.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of points though. I mean, especially because considering they're
Mhm.
typically 6 points for a pin. I think
Right.
so. So yeah, definitely something interesting. What was your least scoring game in wrestling, and how did you improve from that?
Um, I was an eighth grader, and I just recently got pulled up to wrestle varsity at the high school level. And so, I kind of, my head's kind of big, and I was thinking that I was really good and I was supposed to be winning a lot of matches. And anyways, my wrestling coach took me to Bismarck, North Dakota for one of my first times competing at that level, and I think I got pinned in like 8 or 9 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's not a good that's not a good way to go out, especially considering nowadays you can probably do at least 1 minute and the guy would be
right,
out. But yeah, I would
right.
definitely say that's pretty good.
And how I learned from that, I'd say it gave me not so much then, but now looking back at it, just showed me what patience is and what time, trust in the process.
Yeah. So, and then I also added in, or my mom asked a couple of her friends that know some wrestling questions. So here they are. Did you ever wrestle in AAU?
Yes, I've won 4 state AAU titles.
My goodness, yeah. What is your favorite move?
I like the super duck.
All right.
If you don't
Says
know what
here,
it is, you'll have to go look at it. It's pretty cool.
yeah. How many pins have you gotten?
I think last year I had close to, I think on my track wrestling profile it says like 270 pins in my entire career.
My goodness, that's a lot. Yeah, hey, pretty good. What's the hardest weight class you've been in?
152 last year was pretty difficult. 160 this year is going to be very challenging. So it's exciting though.
Yeah, hey, I mean, I've been hearing about how hard it can be, especially about being
Yeah.
in wrestling. So, congrats to you. What is one piece of advice for future people looking to become a DB?
I would say work a lot more on your lower body than your upper body.
Okay.
Do a lot more squats than bench press.
Yeah, this is here. What is one of the more enjoyable games you played as a football player?
Definitely our game against Washington this past year.
Yeah,
That was super fun. Super fun game.
yeah. So, what is one game you could replay and why?
I would say every single one of our last games that we've played,
Oh, geez,
or
yeah,
I've
that was
played as
a
a high
terrible
schooler.
record.
Yeah. I would say every last game I could replay and remember
Yeah. Hey.
each and every single one of those.
What is one of your proudest accomplishments in football?
Making all conference and the 44 max prep elite camp, or 45 elite, and then getting the 2021 and 2022 outstanding DB
Yeah.
versus Stevens.
How do you want to be remembered?
As one of the greats, one of the best
Okay.
athletes to ever come through Stevens.
Definitely, I can agree on that one. So, what is one of the lessons you learned from playing football?
How to keep going through
Yeah.
all of the other stuff that's happening outside of you,
Hmm.
and then really just focusing on that, and then just watching everyone grow.
Yeah. What is one of your what is one of the most funniest moments you played as or experienced as a football player? I'm speaking so fast.
One of my funniest,
Moments, yes. When I got really excited, I just speak really fast. So I'm like,
I would say all the bus rides were pretty funny. I'd say whenever Coach Mike would joke with us, he'd always make it really
interesting.
fun.
Yeah. So, how did you gain your self-confidence?
I'm not too sure I have.
Really?
Yeah, I'm normally a really shy person. I guess if you wouldn't come up to talk to me, I wouldn't come up and talk to you.
Yeah, I used
But
to
I
be that
was
way too. I mean, it's been a roller coaster, especially these last couple of years. I mean,
right.
I think I never really had any friends back in the day, but ever since I joined football, it's been kind of a roller coaster. So
Yeah, I'd
definitely
say
that bond.
being, right. I'd say being successful in sports has helped me a lot with my confidence.
Yeah. Serious. So did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Played t-ball, played soccer. Um, yeah, just those two
All right.
for a
So
little bit.
yeah, that's cool. What is one of the weirdest moments you experienced in football? And I do not want to hear about the showers or whatnot, because again, I've been hearing so much about that lately. So I'm like, pick something different, people.
The weirdest, I would say when COVID kind of took over
Yeah,
and just ruined that class of 2021.
yeah. I mean, I mean, especially because like considering that year was, or I wasn't even an eighth grader, and then we
Right,
went through that experience. So that kind of ruined our transition from high school.
right.
So let's hear. What is your exercise routine like?
Well, every morning I'll wake up around 6 and I'll normally get a good conditioned lift in, which is like more like running and biking,
Yeah,
doing stuff like that, just getting my heart rate way up there. And then normally about noonish, 11, I'll go for a lift. And then I'll have like a practice at 4 o'clock.
yeah.
So it's pretty busy throughout my day.
Cheers. And then sure. What do you typically eat before a football game? And you could also add on to this about wrestling too.
Okay. Um, before a football game, the night before, I would always get my carbs up, so I'd have spaghetti or something noodly like that.
Ooh, you should hear Jed's response. He said he likes SpaghettiOs. So you're gonna have to wait and see that episode. But yeah, it'll definitely be funny.
Yeah. Um, and then normally right before the game, like when we were getting pumped up in the locker room,
Yeah.
I'd always have a orange Gatorade and a Snickers. Have to. Couldn't play
Hey.
without them.
Yeah, I definitely could agree on that one. So let's hear.
For wrestling, it's kind of difficult because
Really.
I don't really eat a lot before the night before.
Yeah.
But after I weigh in, I go to the nearest water fountain I can and chug a whole bunch of water, and then it's normally just fruit stuff from there.
Yeah. So let's hear. Do you plan on sending for any colleges?
I don't think so. No, I
Cool.
don't.
All right. So yeah, I think that will what is one of the many reasons you decided to become a running back?
With a running back graduating, I saw an opportunity to go to that spot and have an opportunity to play. So I think that's why I made the switch. Also, I played wide receiver, but there was a lot of people playing that position. So
Yeah, that's kind of an unfortunate scenario in that case because I did like wide receiver too, but I didn't really look at it that way.
yeah,
So, Sir, what was one of your ambitions for wanting to play football?
my dad kind of got me started on it. He kind of just told me I was gonna play football, and I didn't like it at first, but I guess I kind of fell in love with the sport.
Sir, who are the people who had the big influence in your life?
My dad and mom for sure always come to my games and such, and driving me to my games during Pee Wee and middle school, and showing up to all my high school games. And my grandpa would also make an appearance at most of the games that he could come to. So those two.
Yeah, I definitely can agree on that. So, what age did you decide to play football at?
I think I started in fourth grade, I believe. So yeah, fourth grade.
Yep. So, this year. So, what future goals do you want to achieve in life, and what is one way you plan to achieve that?
Um, Probably getting started on my career early
Yeah,
and not waiting to put it off till later. And I plan on doing. Oh,
yeah. It's going to look glitchy. So it's
yeah, I think
here.
there.
Yep. So, this year. What is one piece of advice you would give to someone when choosing a position?
Choose based on like obviously your body type. So if you're a smaller, faster guy, you might want to go to wide receiver. If you're a bigger person, go to line. But also just choose a position that you like and you that motivates you to get better at that position
Yeah, definitely.
or what can help the team the most.
Yeah, because yeah. So it's here. What sacrifices have you made to play football, and why do you think it's important for people to have these experiences?
Um, Working out every day, definitely having to motivate myself to go to the gym and such like that. And then I spent most of my last summer, which was my junior year, going to senior year at football camps. So definitely took away from social life, and you kind of have to devote yourself a little more than for other sports or such. And I do think everyone should have an experience where they have to sacrifice something for the good of their sport or a hobby or etc. because it teaches you a lesson and helps you to work harder in life.
Definitely. So, let's hear. Why do you think it's good? Why do you think it's important for people to get a good education, and how do you view the benefits in your own personal experiences?
Well, for obvious reasons, an education will take you farther than most sports will because sports end at some point and an education will keep going forever. And most careers that most people will be going into require a good education. And what was that second part of the question you said?
Yeah, I speak really fast, I'm gonna get really excited. So, how do you view the
I'll
benefits
get.
in your own personal experiences?
Oh, well, for school's always been pretty important to me, keeping a high GPA, etc. And I'm getting an opportunity to go to a school that I like because of my GPA and getting scholarships for that.
Definitely. So, it's here. What is one piece of advice for future people looking to becoming a running back?
Uh, Gain size because running through the offensive and defensive line when you're small isn't very fun.
Yeah,
Hurts a lot
I mean,
more. Don't
look
be
at
scared to
Hanson.
hit. Yeah.
So, definitely can agree on that one. What is one game you could replay and why?
Probably the game against Lincoln, just because it was like we had that comeback going in, and I wish we would have had the chance to win that game. But I think if we had another chance, we would have won it.
Definitely. They're definitely kind of they're not like the best school right now, so we'll see what happens in like a year or two. So, can't wait to see what happens with that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you want to be remembered if you have the opportunity to?
Um,
Yeah,
I want to be remembered as that senior that was nice to the underclassmen and as a person that they could go to if they had questions and not be scared. Because I had that when I was a freshman. Obviously, we were scared to talk to the seniors and such like that.
yeah. I mean, it's again, I had no social experiences way back then, so I mean, just getting to have those experiences now actually did pay off in the end. So it's definitely something that don't want to take for
Yeah.
granted. So here, what is one of the many reasons, or here, what it was one of the lessons you learned from playing football?
Hard work and dedication will get you far, and sometimes you just gotta push through the pain.
Yeah.
Which will help. Which I think will help you in life because when things get hard, you're not just gonna give up.
Definitely. So let's hear. how do you view self-confidence and why do you think it's important?
Self-confidence.
Yeah.
Well, obviously in football, if you're not confident about your ability to perform, you're not going to perform as well. So I think self-confidence has a lot to do with sports in general on how well you perform. Yeah.
Yeah, so Sierra, what is your exercise routine like?
Uh, well, during the season, it was a little lighter just because we had practice, obviously. But in the off season, it's usually 5 or 6 days a week, and I just hit like all the muscle groups, etc. Cardio.
Definitely. So let's hear. What do you typically eat before a football game?
Before football game, I always had an amino acids drink to get the blood moving and stuff like that, and then I would always have a bagel with peanut butter.
Yeah, you should have heard what Jed had to say, which does an upcoming interview. He always had a SpaghettiOs, so couldn't honestly blame him, but I think that's kind of funny.
Smart move, smart move.
Yeah, so what conference game did you feel we could do better on?
What was that?
What conference game did you feel we could do better
Oh,
on?
conference
We
game.
went over that. Yep.
Probably the Roosevelt one. I think we went into that game thinking we were gonna beat them pretty easily, and in the end, we ended up getting beat pretty bad.
Yeah,
And I feel like we could have done a lot better that game.
definitely me too. That was definitely something we can definitely won, but we just didn't seize the moment. So,
Agreed.
how did you feel about your last season of football?
Uh, it was, I mean, not terrible, but I feel like it could have gone a little better for me.
Yeah, this year. So, do you plan on signing for any colleges?
Yeah, I'm currently got accepted into SDSU, Montana State, North Dakota, but I might consider not going to a 4-year college and maybe going to like a tech school just to get my business degree and not get in a lot of debt. But I'm really liking Montana State.
Okay. So let's see here. That's one of my questions again. Has any colleges offered you any scholarships yet?
I actually decided I'm not gonna play football in college.
Oh,
So I did get offered by a presentation, and then I had interest from Dakota State and Dakota Wesleyan, but I ended up deciding that I wasn't going to play football.
so did you play any other sports when you were younger? When you were younger, or did we kind of already went over that?
When I was younger, I played basketball, football, and baseball for a little bit, but that didn't last very long. And then soccer when I was really, really little, but I didn't really like that sport.
Yeah. You decided to do track.
Um, I'd probably say just in the beginning, it was definitely the reason I did it was to help me with football. But as I'm getting older and realizing the benefits it brings, I'd say it helps me all around as an athlete. So at this point, I'd do it just to be a better athlete.
So I can agree. So was there any particular athlete or track star you looked up to?
Um, I'd say the biggest two track star wise would be obviously Usain Bolt, like where he came from, what he was able to achieve. And from an athlete standpoint, it's not even a football player, surprisingly, but it's Muhammad Ali, just because he wasn't afraid to speak up in a time where he could be silenced. So that gives me a lot of motivation hearing him.
Definitely. So let's hear. Who were the people who had a big influence in your life?
Hmm. I would definitely say my dad, the
Yeah,
experiences that he has had, as a young man playing football at the highest level, he definitely gave me the most advice when it comes to dealing with certain situations. So I'd say he's probably the biggest influence I've had in my life.
yeah. So let's hear. What age did you decide to do track at?
Well, I've always ran, as a little kid and everything like that. But when I started actually competing against other kids, I think it was around either sixth or seventh grade. It was quite a while ago, but I'd definitely say it was during that middle school time frame in my life.
Yeah. So What future goals do you have, and what is one way you plan to achieve that?
Well, the goal that I have at the moment is just to, you know, try to compete at a Division I school for either football or track. And how I plan on getting there is just doing the usual, working out, making sure my grades are where they need to be, and just believing that it'll happen and it'll surely come true.
Definitely can agree on that one. So, what sacrifices have you made to do track, and why do you think it's important for people to have these experiences?
That's a good question because for me, I've set really high standards for myself. There's been times where I've missed out hanging out with my friends or, spending time with family just in pursuit of accomplishing my goals. It's important to sacrifice time, but at the same time, I'd say it depends on what standards you set for yourself. If you want to be a state champion, you have to sacrifice a lot of time. If you want to be a varsity athlete, I mean, you still need to sacrifice time, but maybe not as much as say if you want to be a state champion. And I guess if you just want to just run track, just I guess you just go out and do it. But you know, depending on what standards you set for yourself going into that season determines how much time you need to sacrifice. So,
Definitely. So, what is one of your proudest accomplishments in track?
there's two, but I'd
All
say
right.
definitely the time where I ran sub 11, just because nobody on the track team were able to do that at the time and to go out and show what I'm capable of doing. That's definitely one of my proudest accomplishments.
Definitely can agree on that one. So, what is one of your funniest moments as a football player? Oh no, it's here. Skip the line. So, which sport did you enjoy more, football or track?
Ooh, uh, I like them both equally, man. There's not one that stands out from the other. I like them both. So,
Yeah. Let's hear. What do you typically do during the off season?
well, during the season, I'm just zoned in, focused on what I need to do on the football field or on the track. So I'd say during the off season, that's where I make up the time of hanging out with friends, family, doing all the stuff that I missed out on doing while in season. So.
Yeah, definitely very cool. What do you like to do in your free time? Which kind of correlates into the same thing, but
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I'd probably say what I said before, just spending time with friends, family. I like going to the gym. I like to meditate every now and then. So yeah, pretty much the
very
same
cool.
thing. So,
Yeah. So, what piece of advice would you look for people looking to become a wide receiver?
hmm, it kind of correlates back to the one question you asked about track. I'd say it depends on what standards you set for yourself. If you want to be one of the best receivers in the state, you have to work at it. Like so many kids will just sign up for football and say, I want to be a receiver without putting in any work. And, if you truly aspire to become a good wide receiver, you have to start working now. You have to start working on your hands. You have to do the ladder drill, increase your footwork, become faster, understand defenses. So it's a long process. So
Yeah, hey, definitely can agree on that one. So, what was one of your most enjoyable games you played as a football player?
I'd have to say it was during this. Well, now it would be last season. I'd definitely say the game against Central. Just the audience that showed up. It was a one of those unforgettable nights. So.
Hey, yeah, Jefferson one. And even if we go back to the Jefferson one, they were kind of stompy. They were very kind of rude.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. What is let's hear. So, what is one game you could replay and why?
Ooh, it would have to be the game against Roosevelt because we ended up getting, I'm not going to show you, we ended up getting destroyed that game. And the reason why we got beat the way that we did is because we came into that game cocky. We beat Washington, Washington beat Roosevelt. So we should have beat them, but if I could go back and, be a leader, to tell the cocky members of my team that, hey, you got to take these guys seriously, because no matter who you're playing, if you give a bad team life, if you give any bad competitor life, they'll find a way to come back and beat you.
Yeah, that and surprisingly, everybody else has said that Roosevelt was definitely the one of the games they could replay. So I like
Oh
your
yeah.
response on that one. So let's see here. What is one of your okay, so how do you want to be remembered if you got the opportunity?
Hmm. Um, I haven't really thought a whole lot about that, but I guess for those who I guess want to know, I'd say I'd want to be remembered as the hard worker that did his best to treat everyone fairly.
Definitely. So and here's kind of the one that we have to backtrack on. What is one of your proudest accomplishments in football?
Um, I would definitely say our last game of the season against O'Gorman. That
That
was
one was pretty
definitely
cool.
probably my best game I've had all season. And that's the one game where I really figured everything out, I've had good games where I had a lot of touchdowns, but that game specifically, was the eye opener for me.
Yeah.
So
And one of the coolest things about that whole game was is that they actually called my name on a false tackle. So it's like, oh my goodness, but that's kind of funny.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
So how did you gain your self-confidence?
Um, I think where confidence comes from is the work that you put in. Like, you know, throughout football season, I would go out and run at night where I knew my competition would probably be sleeping. So having that edge on, I'm doing something that not a lot of people are doing right now, gives you kind of that psychological edge, So I'd say pretty much what I'm trying to say is preparation equals confidence.
Definitely. So let's see here. What is one of the lessons you learned from playing football?
Um, I'll just keep it simple, but just to never give up, really. That's the
Yeah.
biggest lesson I've taken away from it.
Okay. So let's see here. Did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Oh yeah, I did it all as a kid. I played football, basketball, baseball, soccer. The only two I've stuck to now is just football and track, but I've done a lot of sports as a kid.
Very nice. So let's see here. What is one of the weirdest moments you experienced in football and why?
Man, you know what? I don't really know. I'd probably say I think there was a time where somebody found like a snake laying on the field and picked it up and started chasing people with it. I
Oh
mean,
my goodness.
there's not really a
Yeah.
whole lot that has been like genuinely weird, but I guess
Yeah.
that's the answer to that
One of
question.
them. All right, that's fair enough. What is your exercise routine like?
Um, it's definitely changed. It depends on the season that I'm in. Like my football exercise routine isn't the same as my track one, but at the moment, um, I wake up in the morning, go to the YMCA, then I have a weights period during my normal school schedule, and then after school, I go to Scott Benson's just to get the explosive work done. So, yep.
Yeah, very cool. So, what conference game did you feel we could do better on?
Um, what
Like,
game we could have done better on?
yeah, and we already kind of went over this, but if there's like a different one game you want to possibly implement, be nice.
Well, I definitely just say that Roosevelt game. That loss stung. So
It
I
really
would
did. Yeah.
that one. So
How did you feel about your last season of football?
I'm pretty proud of it just because leading up, my sophomore, my junior year, I hadn't really been putting up a lot of numbers. Going into the senior season, I was actually pretty worried that if I would get any looks for football at all. And, to be able to say that I've been nominated as outstanding receiver, I've made the ESD AAA all conference team. I made it all state as an athlete. That's something that I'm definitely proud to look back on. So I definitely say that, just the things that I've been able to accomplish.
So third section of in college. So do you plan on signing for in colleges?
At the moment, it's definitely crossed my mind, but I'm just gonna wait, see what
Yeah.
other opportunities open up. I mean, I still have an entire track season. I've done a lot of
Yeah.
great things in football. Hopefully, I could bring that over to track, and so I'll probably just take my time, see what opportunities open up.
What was one of your ambitions for wanting to play football?
I played football like my whole life, so it's just kind of given that I was gonna play in high school. But I also think that it keeps you out of a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, which that was totally a lie. Come on, dude. I'm messing with you. But would you consider yourself to be a team player? A team, yeah, but a team leader. So tired today.
I think everybody's kind of a team leader in a way. So everybody shows it differently, I guess. But
Yeah.
I guess yeah, I consider myself one of the many team leaders.
Who were the people who had a big influence in your life?
Definitely my dad, Taco's dad, Eric. He's been a
Yeah,
big influence in my life. But also, I gotta go with P Manning. That's my dog.
definitely. So it's here. At what age did you decide to play football at?
I don't know necessarily like what age, but I was in first grade.
Hmm,
So I think
very
that's like
interesting, my guy. What are your future goals and what is one way you plan to achieve that in life?
my future goals are I want to go to college and get my undergraduate, then go to medical school, and then become an anesthesiologist. And to do that, I just gotta keep working hard.
Yeah, definitely very cool. I mean, I had a lot of experiences with that too because I used to go under for a lot of surgery, so because my nose, so a lot of allergies. Let's see here. So what is one piece of advice for someone when choosing a position? Oh my gosh, I have to repeat that. I am so stuttery today. I'm nervous. What is one piece of advice you would give to someone when choosing a position?
Like a football position.
Yep.
I pretty much come into it open-minded. Coaches will put you where they want, but if you're like a bigger guy, I'd assume to end up like on the line. And if you're a medium guy, you're probably a running back or a wide receiver or a um, linebacker.
Yeah, definitely.
I could just kind of base
So
on your body type.
yeah. What sacrifices have you made to play football, and why do you think it's important for people to have these experiences?
Um, I switched schools in like sixth grade so that I could play football in seventh grade because like my youth football team was just not playing again in seventh grade. Um, and then just like lots of hours in the gym and stuff. I'd say that's
Okay.
pretty much my commitment to football.
Yeah, definitely. So, why do you think it's important to get a good education, and how do you view the benefits in your own personal experiences?
I think knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know like why it's important, I guess, but it's
Geez, so
important to
you're
me
so you're
because
wanting to become an anesthesiologist, and you don't know why education is important. I'm messing with you,
well,
but
like I know education's important because like the smarter the whole world could be, the better. But like I don't know what else to say.
all right, that's fine. That's fair enough. What position did you decide? What position did you play in football?
Well, I played a lot of positions, but this year I was a linebacker.
Yeah. Can you please elaborate on that? Like on one other position?
Yeah. So when I was like my first year ever playing, I played running back, which was like first grade. And then I got moved to quarterback from second grade all the way to sixth grade. And then I was a linebacker in seventh grade. And then in eighth grade and freshman year, I was a center. And then I've been a linebacker since then.
Very cool, man. So, what was one of your most enjoyable games you played as a football player?
One of the most fun ones was Roosevelt 2 years ago or Washington this year.
Definitely. So, I can definitely relate to that. What was one of your funniest moments as a football player and why?
Oof. Did you say funniest memory?
Yep, funniest memory.
Um, Shoot, I don't know.
I don't want to hear about the locker room stories because I know those can get a little weird sometimes, but
Shoot, I don't know what a funny story would be. What's your funny
alrighty.
story?
Geez, only if I can think of it. I really can't. So, let's see here. What is one of your proudest accomplishments in football?
I think I'm pretty happy that I went all 4 years, I guess. And I don't know, I was never really like trying to play in college and stuff, but um, I don't know, I was just happy to make it through the 4 years, which I did it in other sports, I guess.
Very cool, my dude. So, what is one of the many lessons you learned from playing football?
Just that hard work's gonna trump everything. Like you can be the biggest guy, you can be the smallest guy. The harder you work, the better you're gonna be. And I think you can carry that on to like life. You know what I mean? If you want to just be a bum, then you're gonna be a bum. But if you want to work hard, then you're not gonna be a bum.
Yeah, definitely. So, how did you gain your self-confidence and how do you do it as important?
Well, I think everybody needs to be confident with who they are, but I just gained my self-confidence by, especially the gym. The gym gives me like a lot of self-confidence. It makes me feel good about myself, I guess. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
definitely.
You just have to kind of know that you're that guy.
Yeah, definitely gonna agree on that one. So, did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Yeah, I've played a lot of sports. At one point, I played soccer, sadly. At one point, I played basketball, wrestling, obviously football. I've still played baseball. I played
Jeez.
tennis at one point, but
Yeah, that's definitely very cool. So, what is your exercise routine like?
I pretty much train like a bodybuilder, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been doing much of the aesthetic stuff, but so pretty much I just go to the gym and push heavy circles.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. So, what conference game did you feel we could do better on?
What?
What conference game we could do better on?
Ooh. Say it one more time, please. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. So, what conference game did you feel we could do better on?
Ooh. I thought we could have done better against Brandon Valley for sure.
Yeah, that one was definitely pretty close.
Yeah, we or Roosevelt, honestly. Roosevelt we should have beat.
Everyone says Roosevelt. That's pretty common, but yeah, definitely the Brandon Valley one. O'Gorman, that was pretty close.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was pretty happy with how we ended our season, honestly. O'Gorman was they absolutely waxed us in the regular season, then we at least had a game at the end of the year.
that was pretty decent. Yeah.
I'd have liked to beat them, but
So, how did you feel about your last season of football?
it was all right. Definitely didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but what can you do?
Definitely can agree on that one. So, what sport did you like better, football or basketball?
100% football.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you plan on signing for do you plan on signing up for any colleges?
Yeah, like for football or not for football?
for football? It doesn't matter what sport.
Um, for football, I've been talking to Presentation College, but I don't really want to go to Presentation College. And then I think I might play club baseball wherever I go, but that's pretty much it.
All right, that's fair enough. Have any colleges offered you any scholarships yet?
Yeah, so I've got a lot of academic scholarships. I don't have any football scholarships, but like U of A offered me $80,000 through 4 years for academics. GCU offered me like I think it's a total of like 35,000 for 4 years for
Yeah, definitely.
academics. And then I'm pretty sure
Yes.
ASU is also going to offer me for athletics.
Very nice, man. I think they'll end us off. Thank you for coming on. Do appreciate it. And as always, one of the many reasons you decided to play soccer.
Well, I thought it was one of the sports where I had the most potential. So I started to stick with that. And one of the reasons also is my parents made me pick between like football or soccer. And I decided to just play soccer just because, yeah, like what I said, I just had the most potential.
All right. So was there any particular soccer player who you looked up to?
Well, I didn't have like a specific one, but there's this one athlete called Neymar. He just is so like silky and smooth with the ball. So I just like always admired him.
Very nice. Who were the people who had a big influence in your life?
I would say my parents for sure, and some along with my friends as well, because they're always there helping me out with stuff. And yeah,
What age did you decide to play soccer at?
well, my parents put me in at 4 years old just because I had so much energy. So they just put me in soccer just to get like all the energy out of me, and then I ended up loving it.
Very unique story, at least.
Yeah.
What future goals do you have in life, and what is one way you plan to achieve that?
A future goal that I have is just to be successful in whatever I do. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do yet, but whatever I do, like if I'm gonna go get a job somewhere, just make sure I'm successful and that's the right job I want. And how I'm gonna do it, just to keep working hard. That's what I've been doing pretty much my whole life. Just work hard, work for it, and yeah, hopefully things will come.
Yeah, definitely. So what is one piece of advice you would give to someone when wanting to become a soccer player?
Just have fun with it. I mean, if you're just starting to play soccer, just have fun. It doesn't have to be too serious. I mean, like you're just playing for the love of the game. You're not trying to do anything crazy, you know. And then just stick with the fundamentals. And then once you get those mastered, you can start doing other stuff that are can get you to the next level.
Definitely. So what sacrifices have you made to play soccer, and why do you think it's important for people to have these experiences?
So one sacrifice that I made was I actually moved down to Arizona my sophomore year without, yeah, just myself. And that was a pretty big sacrifice because I was leaving my family, leaving my friends and everybody here in Rapid and go down in Scottsdale and just kind of start a new life. And it's good to make those sacrifices just because you can kind of learn from yourself and take that next level or step into your maturity and learn, yeah, just from yourself like that.
Definitely. So what do you do? What do you do typically during the off season?
Well, so soccer doesn't really have that much of an off season. It's kind of like a full, like all year round. So
Yeah.
what I typically do though is that if I get the chance, I'll just like work out, hit the gym, I don't know, recover, make sure I'm staying in shape, eat right, yeah, all those things.
Very, very nice. So what was one of the most enjoyable games you played as a soccer player?
Well, I would say my in 2020, my sophomore year, when I was playing in the semifinals against Roosevelt, that was a pretty big game because we were number 1 seed undefeated, playing against the number 3 seed.
Yeah.
And we are both like pretty much at the same caliber. Like, I mean, we were a little bit better, obviously, because we won. But that was one of my most favorite games just because it was such a close game. Like there was like if you made one error, the other team could score there. Or if you caught the other team slack, and then you could, take the score. And that was a really good game for me just because we ended up getting scored on in the first half. And then I ended up tying it with the PK. And then like 2 minutes after that, I score a banger upper 90. And I just remember the crowd going crazy. Like cars are honking their horns. And I don't know, I just got chills from it. And then I'd say my second favorite game would be the state championship that we just won.
Yeah, the one that was with Lincoln. That one was pretty cool. I got to watch that one too. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yep. So let's see here. What is one game you could replay and why?
The state championship.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So what is one of your biggest accomplishments in soccer?
I would say getting on the Phoenix Rising team my sophomore year, and then being able to play the Colorado Rapids through like middle school. I mean, I've had little awards like, getting USA Today Player of the Year award and like breaking school records and stuff. But I would say the most like beneficial award that stuck out to me was those two. Just being able to be put on a high caliber team.
Yeah, hey, definitely, man. So how do you want to be remembered?
I just want to be remembered as a hardworking, like funny guy, the guy that loves to have fun. Yeah, that's what I like to be remembered for.
All right. So what was one of your most funniest moments you played as a soccer player and why? Or was the yep.
So that's kind of a hard one, but I would say the bus ride. So like, okay, one time, so that was after the state championship.
Yep.
All the guys were in the gas station, kind of still like celebrating, and we're eating all this junk food. And one of my teammates like spots this like spicy chip or whatever, and it's like one chip for $10. So then we buy it, and then my friend Xander, he starts eating it, and then Sean Bauer eats it. He takes it like a tank. It doesn't even phase him. And then Sam Cheddar had like a little piece of it, and he was dying. And I don't know, that was just funny to me because we're all just laughing, surrounding them, and they're just, having a hard time trying to handle the spice.
The crazy thing is I had him in my econ class, so I can definitely get where you get that sense of humor from. So
yeah,
definitely. Let's see here. What is one lesson you learned from playing soccer?
That everything is not given to you. You got to work for it. Like talent's not enough. You need if you're gonna have that talent, you got to put it to use. Get some like work when people aren't, so you get that extra step ahead of people.
Yeah, definitely. How did you gain your self-confidence?
Well, my parents kind of, put me in that mindset when I was younger, because when I was younger, I got the chance to try out with this Colorado Rapids team in Colorado, and I was obviously nervous. I was like sixth grade, 12 years old, and I mean, those kids are really good, and I had to go in there and prove myself. So my parents just kind of like, even if you're not the best, you just gotta have that mindset. You are the best. And ever since then, I take that with me every time I play a game. Like I just tell myself I'm the best, and then I take that to like school or whatever. And yeah, I just do that.
Definitely can agree on that one, man. So did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Yeah, I pretty much played every other sport when I was younger. Yeah.
Can you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, so like I played football, basketball, baseball, track, cross country, a little bit of hockey. Yeah.
Very nice. So what is your exercise routine like?
Well, right now, I I lift weights, and then after that, I'll just go to practice, and play some soccer.
All right. So what was it like winning your first state championship?
It was one of the most fulfillment moments of my high school career, because 2020 we got to the state championship, didn't win, and that was one of the worst feelings I've ever had as an athlete. And then to win it my senior year, it was just one of the most enjoyable moments. I mean, once they like blew that final whistle, I just kind of like embraced every feeling that I had, and I was just so happy.
Yeah, I can only imagine that relief. So, Seer, how did you feel about your last season of soccer?
I was actually pretty surprised because my sophomore year and junior year, we had a pretty good group of guys, and I thought for sure that we would win a state championship. And then going into my senior year, like everyone else with me, we're a little nervous because we didn't have the players we did last year, and the start of the season didn't go well for us. And then we made some adjustments, and then we ended up just being a powerhouse, and yeah, ended up winning state. So it was pretty surprising. Ended up winning state when we didn't think we would.
Yeah, so do you plan on sending for any colleges?
I do. That's the plan. I want to play at the college level.
All right. So, what do you plan on studying in college?
Well, I'm aiming for business. I'm gonna specialize in finance.
All right. So I think that will conclude us off. Thank you for coming on. What is one of the many reasons you decided to do track?
Yeah, so I would say one of the best things about track is probably that it's pretty much up to you. Like, I really love the individuality that you kind of have and the responsibility that comes with it. So if I win a race, I know that obviously people help me along the way, but in that race, it was up to me. And, if I lose a race, I know it was up to me in that same way.
Very nice, my mans. So, was there any particular athlete or track star who you looked up to?
Yeah, when I was younger, there was a great British athlete. His name is Mo Farah. He was a middle distance, but even was like an Olympic gold medalist in the 5 and 10K, and now he's on the roads right now. But I was just like really loved the way he ran races and his finishing speed, and I really looked up to him.
Yeah, very nice. So, who are the people who had a big influence in your life?
Yeah, so my dad is pretty much the main reason I got into running. He was a runner when he was in high school, when he was in college, and so he kind of got me into that, and he's really just helped me along the way, teaching me, how the sport works, how to stay, like, how to keep enjoying the sport, and just how to really live life in a healthy way.
Yeah, definitely. So, what age did you decide to do track at?
Yeah, so I started track in middle school. I mean, I ran like a little bit before, but not in like a actual sports setting.
Mhm.
So I started in 6th grade, but at that same time, I was also playing hockey. So it
Yes.
wasn't until my sophomore year where I was solely focused on running.
Very nice. So, what are your future goals, and what is one in life, and what is one way you plan to achieve that?
Yeah, so future goals, I guess just within this year, I'd like to set a national record, a national high school record. So yeah, whether that's the 800, the mile, 2 mile, that's probably my biggest goal coming up. And then after that, just like the Olympics in 2024, I'm really looking to see if I can have a chance in that or at least make the trials. And I pretty much plan to achieve that by just keep doing what I've been doing, just consistent training, trying to stay healthy, just racing really hard and always trying to win.
Yeah, hey, definitely a good mindset to have. So,
Yeah.
what is one piece of advice you'd give to someone for wanting to become a track star?
Yeah, no, it's definitely challenging. Like it's to be like really great at a sport, especially the sport of track and field where, often running is seen as a punishment or not enjoyable, which definitely sometimes it can be that way. And, I'm not gonna say that it's always super fun, but I think the biggest thing is probably discipline. You usually see with track athletes, especially track stars, that pretty much in every aspect of their life that they have the ability to do it pretty well and usually excel at it. Because usually, if you like spend time at something and you care about doing good at it and you set your mind to it, you can usually do it pretty well. So, I mean, I don't totally agree with the statement that like the thing you do the worst at is kind of the level you approach everything at. But I do agree with the part of that statement that if you're going to be great at anything, you kind of have to try to achieve greatness in all aspects of your life.
Yeah, definitely. So, what sacrifices have you made to do track, and why do you think it's important for people to have these experiences?
Yeah, so pretty much my whole day is based around track and field, which um, takes away from just like being a teenager lots of times. You wake up in the morning, you go on a run, and go to school, and then you run again. You maybe have some other training. Like you miss out on like a lot of social time. I mean, you can still like have a pretty good social life, but um, there's parts of it that exclude like maybe I can't go. Well, pretty much just like anything at night, which is a lot of the times when high schoolers, have fun. I usually try to be in bed pretty early and sleeping. So I'd say the social life probably takes the biggest hit. But other than that, I feel like we live in a pretty easy society to have time for the stuff we love, just with how advanced we are. So I'd say it's not a whole bunch of sacrifices, but there definitely is some.
Yeah, definitely can agree on that statement. So, what is one of your proudest accomplishments in track?
Probably the accomplishment I'm most known for is the sub 4 minute mile, and I'd say that's probably my proudest accomplishment. It was really kind of a historic thing for let alone like a South Dakota athlete, but also being a
Yeah, very.
junior really caught a lot of people's attention. So that's what I'm known for, and that's kind of what I like to tell people if they ask me to like tell me
Yeah,
something cool about myself.
very interesting. So, why do you think it's important for people to get a good education, and how do you view the benefits in your own personal experiences?
Yeah, it's we can never like take the opportunity to be educated and to grow and just like knowledge for granted. I mean, I feel like education can mean many things for lots of different people. Like myself personally, like I'm not the biggest fan of school. Like obviously, I when I go to school, I try to focus and I try to learn as much as I can. But I like to pursue knowledges in like other aspects that because we only live once, so you kind of want to pursue and learn stuff that you can enjoy and you feel like will impact you the most. So, like, if I like say like recently, like people have learned chess a whole bunch. So like if I want to learn chess other than study for a big math test where I can get a B instead of an A, that's not the end of the world for me because I know I'm doing what I love and I'm learning what I want to learn.
Yeah, definitely. So, which sport did you enjoy more, track or cross country?
Probably track. Um,
Yeah.
it's probably part of that is because I'm better at track. But also just I feel like the environment is usually a lot cooler. Like there's nothing like getting in like a full stadium, like a sold out stadium. Just like the crowd noise, the crowd engagement is usually a lot better and it just can make for some really special moments.
Yeah, definitely. So, let's see here. What do you typically like to do in your free time?
Yeah. Um, you know, recently, obviously I mentioned I've been playing a good bit of chess, but I also love disc golf. Me and my friends, we have kind of this like made up league. I don't know where we play for this belt, and if you win that day's round, you get the belt. So it's kind of like like a WWE style belt, but just for the disc golf champ of that day. So
Very nice.
that's a lot of fun. But I also play the saxophone. So the
Yeah, definitely. So, let's see here. what type of events did you do in track?
I'm a middle distance runner, so pretty much anything from the 400 to the 2 mile. I don't really limit myself, so I feel like I can excel at pretty much sprinting speeds and then like the more endurance stuff. So I would call
Every
myself a middle distance runner.
All right. So let's see here. Did you play any other sports when you were younger?
Yeah, I played hockey pretty competitively. I grew up in Canada, so that kind of came naturally where everyone played hockey. I'm starting from a pretty young age, so I did that up until my freshman year.
Very, very nice. So let's see here. What is your exercise routine like?
My what?
Exercise routine like?
Oh, yeah. So, it changes throughout the years, but this year I am running about 45 to 55 miles a week with usually 1 to 2 cross training sessions. I can get pretty creative with that. And then I'm also in the weight room twice a week. So it's a it's a pretty balanced training regimen. Uh, Probably takes like an hour to 2 hours out of my day of just training. So
Yeah, very nice. So what is one lesson you learned from doing track?
probably that you can accomplish a lot with discipline. Um, it's like people asked me because I was pretty good at a pretty young age. People asked me like if I wanted to break four. And like I remember pretty distinctly, I think it was seventh or eighth grade, but someone came up to me and asked me if I wanted to break four because that's what people understand. People understand the mile and they understand the 4 minute barrier. And I kind of laughed and I said, no way, I'd be happy to go under 4:10, just because like I was nowhere close to that. Like I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even run 2 laps at that pace, let alone four. And I didn't really think about it much, and I just kept going to practice, kept getting better, kept doing all little things right, and uh, eventually it just happened. And I was like, "What just happened?" It's not like I ever thought I could do it. It just kind of happened. And so what I learned is if you just keep showing up and keep trying to do your best, that you can definitely surprise yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see here. What is your proudest accomplishments in cross country?
Cross country,
Yep.
yeah. So this year, well, for my 5K, I was pretty happy with the time I ran. I ran 14:39, which I definitely isn't as good as my track times, but I was definitely proud of that because that means I can probably do pretty good stuff on the track. And then I got sixth place and I got fourth place at both the national meets, which I was definitely happy with. I mean, I wanted to win, and I went in there trying to win. But at the end of the day, I'm not a cross country. I'm not a 5K runner, and I beat a lot of guys who that's their main event, and they were ranked ahead of me in the national rankings. So can't be too disappointed.
Yeah, true. So do you plan on signing for any colleges? Just for the people who don't know yet.
Yeah, no, I've signed to the University of Oregon.
All right. So what do you plan on studying in college?
I'm not. I have definitely haven't decided yet, but as of now, I have an interest in marketing, so that's probably my kind of my go-to answer right now.
All right. So why did you decide to pursue track in college?
Um, yeah, I mean, definitely, I'm very very excited to get to go to college for running, and I get to run with a bunch of guys that are at my level, so I'm very excited for that like camaraderie. Because I don't really have that much anymore. I mean, I definitely have fun with the guys on my teams, but it's not like we go out and we do the same workouts and we run a whole bunch together. So definitely that. I'm very excited to just compete at the next level, and a big part of it's money. Like, I mean, if I didn't want to run in college, I'd have to pay a whole bunch of money. So that's
Definitely.
definitely a persuasive factor.
Yep. So let's see here. What was your reaction getting accepted into Oregon State?
It's the University of Oregon. Yeah, but um, I mean, I didn't even really have a reaction. I mean, that kind of sounds
Yeah.
goofy, but I mean, I mean, I was talking to the coach way before I even like put in an application. So I knew I was pretty much gonna get accepted. Like after the first phone call, he's like, "Yeah, you can come." So I was just when I got the letter in the mail, my parents kind of tried to hype it up for me, and but you know,
Yep.
I knew I was gonna get in.
That's very cool, man. So, what was it like winning Gatorade Player of the Year?
Yeah, no, Gatorade, that's a very cool award they do. It's always fun to win, and it's always fun to have them send you stuff in the mail. And you know, my little sister wears a Gatorade Player of the Year backpack to school now because she thinks it's pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. And just like the way they give out the prizes, I get the opportunity to give $1,000 to a like a non profitable or not profitable like a nonprofit charity. So I love that part, and that created some cool experiences for me as well. So I think Gatorade does a very good job.
Yeah, very nice, man. So I think that'll end us off. Any reasons you decided to do basketball?
So I've just been playing basketball for as long as I can remember. So I just feel like I started in second grade and just stuck with it. So yeah, I just been playing ever since.
Very nice. Was there any particular athlete or basketball star who you looked up to?
Oh, good question. I think I've always thinking of like bigger picture, I've always liked Steph Curry probably the most. So I'll probably just stick with Curry on that one.
Very nice. All right. So, who were the people who had a big influence in your life?
Oh, good question. I think that obviously my family and my parents have always been supportive of me, especially coming to Stevens. So I would say my family and my closest friends and teammates have always had a large influence on my life.
Very nice. So, at what age did you decide to do basketball at? Which we already kind of went over this. So, what
Second
future
grade.
goals? What?
Yeah, second grade around there.
Okay. So, what age? Okay, so serious. So, what future goals do you have in life, and what is one way you plan to achieve that?
Wow. I think goals are a great thing to have. I'm going to college to in the fall to play both basketball and volleyball. So I'm just hoping that that goes good and then just trusting whatever else comes my way.
Very nice. So, what is one piece of advice you would give to someone for wanting to become a basketball player?
Oh, um, I just feel like sports, especially volleyball and basketball, are such mental games. So I just feel like having that confidence and positivity is always a good thing, something that I still need to work on and something that will be good for players who want to start basketball. So, yeah.
Very nice. All right. So, what sacrifices have you made to do basketball, and why do you think it's important for people to have these sacrifices?
Um, Sports, if you're in sports, you know that like sacrifices have to be made and you have to choose certain things over other things. So I just feel like and you're on a team and you want to win, then you just those sacrifices will be made and you don't have a problem. So
Very nice. All right. So, why do you think it's important for people to get a good education, and how do you view the benefits in your own personal experiences?
yeah, school and education is obviously very important and will get you far. I feel like with being an athlete, you have to have a good education. You have to be on top of stuff. So I just feel like it's very important, especially with me going into college. So yeah.
Very nice. All right. So, what is one of your proudest accomplishments in basketball?
Ooh. Well, so I came to Stevens my junior year in like October. So I just missed out on the volleyball season. So my first basketball season at Stevens, we made it to the state championship. So that was definitely the highlight of my basketball career. And hopefully we might get there again.
Yep. Hopefully you always have to have those positivity, or you always have to have positivity. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
something that you definitely can look forward to. What do you do? What do you typically do during the off season?
For me, I don't really have an off season. I mean, it just volleyball, basketball, and track, and in the summer you're doing all those again. So I just feel like I'm either doing my other sport in the off season pretty much.
Very nice. So, let's see here. What do you typically do in your free time?
Oh, besides sports, I like to hang out with my friends and my family. Just pretty much, I like to take naps, all that kind of stuff. So,
Very cool. All right. So, what is one of your funniest moments as a basketball player and why?
something I love about this Stevens team is that we're all so close and we all have such a great sense of humor. And so I can't pick any certain moments because every day is just
A unique
another.
one.
Yeah.
All right. Makes sense. So, second section. What is one piece of advice you'd for future people looking to becoming a volleyball player?
Yeah, volleyball especially is just such a mental sport and you have like it could like a mistake in basketball, you just I don't know, you just get back on defense. But volleyball, it could cost the other team a point and could cost them a game. So you just have to stay positive and just have that mental gain. So it's definitely very important for people who want to play to know that.
Yeah. So, let's hear. What was one of the most enjoyable games you played as a volleyball player and why?
Oh, so yeah, this was like I said, I came here in October of last year, so just missed last year's volleyball season. So this
Yep.
my senior first season at Stevens. So I would say that the Sodak 16 game to get to state was pretty enjoyable. That 5-set battles that we pulled out was pretty fun. So
Very nice. All right. So, what is one game you could replay and why?
probably that one again. It was just, yeah, it was just one that was memorable and that I'll remember for a while. So,
Okay. So, how do you want to be remembered?
oh, that's a very good question. Um, I would say that especially being a senior this year, I would just want to be remembered as a leader. I always try to be kind to our younger players, and that hopefully when they grow up to be seniors, they'll do the same to younger generations for Stevens volleyball. So I just feel like being a leader, being kind, being there for them is very important.
Very cool. All right. So, how did you gain your self-confidence?
Oh, yeah, especially in volleyball, you have to have a lot of self-confidence. It's very hard to make a mistake and then move on from it, but it's just you got to do it, and so that confidence has to be there in order to help your team.
Yeah, definitely. So, what is one of the lessons you learned from playing volleyball?
Oh, it's such a mental sport, but it's such a team sport. So I feel like you just have to have those bonds with your different teams, and so just being knowing each other is very important to in order to succeed.
Makes sense. All right. So, let's see here. What is one of your exercise routines like?
Oh, pretty much just practice every day for whatever sport I'm in.
All right, makes sense. So, what conference game did you feel your team could do better on?
Conference like regular season games.
Yep,
Um, for basketball.
for both.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Thinking back on volleyball. Um, for both, actually, both volleyball and basketball, I want to play Brandon Valley again. I feel like
That game. Mhm.
those just we're in a little slump, but we're over them now, and so I just feel like I would want to get back at them again.
Yep, and at least we don't have to play them in the playoffs, so we're pretty lucky about that.
Yeah, am I gonna get
Yeah,
back at
very
them?
cool. So, how did you feel about your last season of basketball and volleyball?
I just felt like these were such memorable seasons, especially with us going to state for both was awesome. And I just feel like with this last week of basketball, I'm just trying to soak in every moment and enjoy it with my team. So they were very fun and something that I'll remember for a long time.
Okay. So you obviously talked about going to college, but have you already signed for going to college?
I have. I've signed with Dakota State for both volleyball and basketball.
Very cool. So, what do you plan on studying in college?
I do not know yet, so I'll probably go in undecided. I have a few different ideas, but they're all pretty different. So I'll just get my generals done and then maybe do some job shadowing or something this summer to really see what I like and what I want to do.
Very cool, Macy. I think that will end us off. Thank you for coming on. Yeah, so was there any particular athlete or basketball star who you looked up to?
Steve Nash. He's actually who I'm named after.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was my dad's pretty much his favorite player whenever he watched basketball. So that's just kind of who I watched too.
Very nice. All right, so who were the people who had a big influence in your life?
Probably mostly just my bigger brother and my bigger sister, just because we're so close in age and I kind of just watched everything they did. Like not even in just like the sports sense, like just kind of in life in general. And my parents, obviously. Those are probably the main ones.
Very nice. All right, so what age did you decide to do basketball at?
Shoot. I don't know. I do know that I started playing in kindergarten when I was super young
Yeah,
with my brother's team. And so I guess I would have been, oh shoot, I don't know. Pretty much my whole life, I guess.
fair enough.
Since I could walk.
Yep. So, what future goals do you have in life, and what is one way you'll plan to achieve that?
Well, just a goal, I guess, is just to, eventually get through college and starting the business and all that kind of stuff, and start a living, then eventually like a family and stuff like that. So I guess it's just like I don't know, it's just a goal to just keep going and just do my thing, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. So what is one piece of advice you give to someone for wanting to becoming a basketball player?
I guess just some advice is just to keep working hard every day. If you really want to be good, be good at something you want to do, you got to work at it every day. And just, I don't know, I'd say just keep it in, like even in the off season, you gotta keep playing basketball just so you keep that type of love for the game, stuff like that.
Yep. One of my advices would be stop doing three-pointer shots. But yeah, that's my opinion. Why do you think it's important for people to get a good education, and how do you view the benefits in your own personal views? Hello. Hello? Oh, there we go.
Oh,
That was my Wi-Fi. Oh my God. I don't know what's happening with the router.
you're cool. You're good.
All right. I thought this was you for a second. I was like, no, my Wi-Fi is not doing this to me right now. So I'm gonna repeat the question. Let's see here. Why do you why do you think it's important to get a good education, and how do you view the benefits in your own personal experiences?
Like in college or just like in high school and stuff like that?
High school.
Well, I think if you want to go to obviously college, you have to get through high school. So if you want to, get to that level, you have to get through and make it, get it done in high school. But I think education is important just because, if you're an athlete, maybe athletics aren't going to take you all the way in your whole life. So you got to like have something else to, back up on and be able to obviously make a living from. So you got to be somewhat educated.
Yeah, definitely can agree on that point. What is one of your proudest accomplishments in basketball?
Shoot. I don't really know, honestly. I don't really have that many like big accomplishments, I guess.
Okay.
Uh,
Which sport
I
did you
don't know.
enjoy more, basketball or football?
Oh, Sam, that's a hard one right
I
there.
know. Just pick
Um,
one.
I don't know. It's a lot. It's a little different. Like in football, you kind of have like a different relationship with your team as like in basketball, just because there's so many more like people on the team compared to basketball and stuff like that. But I don't know. Probably the season, probably basketball, just because I
Yeah,
like basketball more as a sport in general. But
fair enough.
like just the overall like fun of it, I can't choose though.
Okay, fair enough. So what do you do typically during the off season?
Uh, I lift, I play hoops. Sometimes I guess we go to tournaments. That hasn't really been a thing lately, but like AAU stuff. That's pretty much about it.
Alrighty. So, Sir, what is one of your funniest moments as a basketball player and why?
Uh, I mean, I'll just say a whole like a group. Just honestly, like just the
All right.
team trips for basketball, like there's just so many funny moments just with the boys in the hotel rooms and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just like I don't even know. There's too many to count.
Yeah, Ben Goldie was one of them when I was there, but
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So the second part, or the second section is football now. So what is one piece of advice you'd give to someone for wanting to becoming a wide receiver?
Honestly, like being a wide receiver, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the easiest job ever, but it's really not that hard. I mean, you
Catch.
can, yeah, you just got to be able to. I mean, if you know what you got to run, your routes, you can. I mean, you got to be able to block really well, especially
Yeah.
if you're like a tight end, kind of like I was. But yeah, blocking's a big thing, honestly. So I mean, you got to be a little bit physical, but I'd say the biggest thing is catching the ball and just knowing like what you actually have to do.
Yeah, I mean Harrisburg plays it to perfection, but also we do have to kind of work on that
Yeah.
too.
Right.
So what is the most enjoyable game you played as a football player and why?
I'd probably have to say the Washington game this year. Just because I didn't play my junior year.
Yep.
After I did play sophomore year, but I didn't play my junior year just because I don't know, I just really wasn't feeling like it, I guess. But
Yeah.
the first game we came back obviously was against Washington. So that was my first varsity football game I've ever played. And obviously the turnout was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the coolest game ever for football.
Next year we're also going to be it's the same schedule pretty much, but except we're going to be having to go all the way to Washington. So that's going to be probably a different outcome.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see how that plays out. What is one game you could replay and why?
Oh, that's tough. Probably the Roosevelt game for sure.
Oh God, yeah, that one sucked.
Like I think everyone on the football team could probably say that, but personally, probably the OG game at the end
that
of the
one
year.
was really close.
Just because I feel like we actually could have won that thing.
Yeah, that one was so close. We're such in reach of victory. It was crazy.
Super close on that one.
Yeah. So, what is your proudest accomplishments in football, if you know any?
I mean, I mean, freshman year was pretty sweet. We went undefeated. I mean, other than that, I guess it was just kind of like the same thing. I haven't really done
Yeah.
much, I guess.
Fair enough. So how do you want to be remembered?
I don't know. I guess I mean, just like as in like just a human sense, or like as in like a basketball, a football, athletic
Just
thing.
human sense.
Just being a good person, I think, is really important in life.
Yep.
You know, I think that's a good way to be remembered in general.
Yep. So let's hear. What is one of the lessons you learned from playing football?
Um, uh, Probably just that. I don't know. There's a lot of them.
I guess one of them could just be don't take life for granted.
Yeah, that's kind of the one. Like, you think like the freshman, like when I was a freshman, I was like, dang, we got a whole 4 years, and then you kind of snap, and then it's just wow, I'm graduating in almost a month.
I know. Next year is gonna be the same thing.
So it's
for
just
me.
like, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it's a lot like for the younger people. I just like take what you like. Don't like. You guys think like high school might be like that sometimes, but don't like take it for granted and stuff like that. It's fun
Yeah.
in your life. You gotta live it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So how did you gain your self-confidence?
I guess I mean I don't really know. I've never really been like I've always kind of just had it like just because I don't know.
Raised by
Like
people. Yeah.
like my father like and my mom used to like tell me like obviously like they'd like talk me up and stuff just like any parents would. And I
Yeah.
guess like when I was younger I just heard that and I just never really thought differently, I guess.
Very nice. So what is your exercise routine like?
I mean I don't really have like a routine or nothing like that, but I mean I go to the Y and I lift some weights and then I'll go up and I'll shoot some hoops, stuff like that.
Very nice. So we obviously already went over this question, but what conference game did you feel we could do better on?
Definitely the OG game.
Yep.
Definitely the OG game.
Already. So how did you feel about your last season of football?
It was fine. But I mean, I feel like there was a lot of things there was a lot of potential that was left out there. I feel like we definitely could have won probably a lot of the more of the games that we were kind of close in. But I mean, overall, I had a really fun time. It was really fun, like just with the friends, all my boys.
Yep.
You know, family that we made and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, the football part of it, you know, it was all right, but I had fun with like all my friends and stuff like that. I wouldn't trade it for the world. So
Very nice. So here's our third and final section, and it's about college. So do you have any plans for signing for any colleges?
I'm trying to go. I'm still kind of looking around for some junior colleges to play basketball at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already very nice. So I think that will conclude us off. Thank you very much for coming on. Do appreciate it.